Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of Smart Outsourcing Talks. And today's topic is boundary settings for CPA, building a firm that works for your life. So, accounting has had a strange definition of success for a long time. We always seek more clients, more hours, more pressures. And for many firm owners, that works until it doesn't work, okay? Because at some point, growth stops feeling like growth and starts feeling like a burnout. And that's what today's conversation is really about. In this episode of Smart Outsourcing Talks, we are exploring a question that more firm owners are beginning to ask very seriously. Can you build a successful firm without letting it consume your life? I repeat, can you build a successful firm without letting it consume your life? Because boundaries are no longer just a personal habit, they become your leadership skills, a culture decision, and in many cases, a business model decision as well. And to talk about that, I'm joined by someone who is just not speaking about balance in theory, but actually building it in practice. So, Nick, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to finally be here and be part of the show.
Yeah, cool. So I'm honored to have today the Nick Boscia, so widely known as the Balanced CPA. He is a CPA and EA and a modern firm builder who is helping redefine what success can look like in accounting. After earning both his bachelor's and master's in accounting from Penn State and beginning his career at PwC, Nick chose a very different path, joining his family firm, Boscia and Boscia PC, and rethinking the traditional busy season model from the inside. Through smarter systems, better workflows, and international firm design, he helped grow the firm from while reducing administrative burden and protecting that balance that we are going to talk about. So in 2024, he also launched the Balanced CPA, a philosophy and platform built around the idea that firms can be profitable, scalable, and impactful without burning out the people behind them. He also serves on Intuit Tax Council and ADP's Accountant Advisory Board, contributing to the future of tax, technology, and firm design in the profession. Nick, welcome to the show. Really look forward to having this conversation with you.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for the great introduction. Excited to talk about it. This is like a topic that I think is extremely important, setting boundaries. And as you mentioned, the balance CPA is really about having balance in your life, not just having your whole life being consumed by work, which I see across the accounting industry when I go to conferences, talk with people. So I'm trying to help promote how you can actually have a balanced lifestyle and a successful firm and kind of have it all. Not that it's always easy, but that's kind of my goal.
And yeah, it's a perfect time also. The tax season is just over and everybody would be literally overwhelmed.
Exactly.
So, Nick, you have grown up around the profession, seeing the traditional firm model very up close because it was your family, business. And then you chose to build something very different, right? So let me start here. What did you see early in this family firm that made you question the traditional way of building and running an accounting practice?
Yeah, so to give a little background for people who don't know anything about me is I joined my family firm. My dad started our firm in 1975. So when I joined in 2013, he was still running it like it was 1990 and very old school, traditional, like the typical accounting firm you would imagine was my firm. Yeah. And when I stepped in the door, I thought, my dad's been doing this for 40 years. So I didn't want to rock the boat. I just wanted to learn everything I could. And then in a quick span of time, a couple of years in, I'm like, we could be doing this much more efficiently. And what really changed everything for me was we were getting more clients, making more money, but I was less happy. I was working more hours, but my goal is to travel. So I love traveling. That's, for me, balance is going on 10 vacations a year. To some people, they don't love that. But balance that's something that was important to me. And when I started with my family firm, we had no vacation days. I'm like, this is not going to work. So something had to change.
Okay. Yeah. And, was there any specific moment where you realized this model may be profitable on paper, but it doesn't add to your life?
Yeah, like I mentioned, is we were every year our business was doing what a business you think quote unquote should do, is make more money. So every year you're making more money, so you should just be happy. But I wasn't. I almost hit like a pinnacle where I'm like, well, now I'm working more hours and I'm getting less vacation time and less free time to do the things that I love outside of work. I do love my job. Like even today, I love doing accounting. I love doing taxes, which hopefully you do the job you enjoy. But it was getting to the point where that was the only thing I was doing. So then that's when I shift, and that's when I started down the journey of implementing technology, improving our processes, working on our workflow, just thinking about how to improve the business, not just simply get more clients.
And when you say, your lifestyle has been much of a traveling, so how much do you travel and how much do you spend time in the firm?
So I always like to preface, I work a lot. So it's not like I try to act like I'm the balanced CPA and I just sit around and don't work a lot. I definitely work a lot. So tax season, I was working a lot, but our summers are great. So that's like for me, the balance, like January through April, I'll be busy, but we're also not working crazy hours in tax season. We're working 9 to 6, Monday through Friday. So only an extra hour. And then Saturdays 9 to 1. So nothing like we're not working 80-hour weeks and killing our team. That was very important to me. And then the summer we take Fridays off, which the team loves, I love, because in the summers when I do all my traveling, and like last year I did like 15 trips, which is
people are like, what are saying?
Most people hear that and they get stressed. It's a lot. Like there's times where I'm like, whoa, it could be intense sometimes, but a lot of the travel was going to accounting conferences. So a lot of it was like work trips, not just all personal trips, but that's something I'm passionate about. Like with the balance, to be like, I really enjoy sharing my story and helping people. To me, like that's like my passion for the future, because like going on the beach and relaxing and traveling is awesome. I love it. I want to have time for that, but my goal isn't to travel 100 days a year. Like I don't want to do that. I want to enjoy the vacation and work, and again, have the balance of all the things that are important to me.
So, Nick, do you still think that the profession still romanticizes overwork a little too much?
That's a great question. I mean, that definitely was the mindset of like even now, like the accounting industry is known for being overworked, not a fun, not a sexy profession at all. But like when like I know we always see each other at accounting conferences, and I feel like the accountants we see there are like more at the top or the leading edge of the profession. So they're more into the technology, the growth, the marketing, like all the aspects of business, and I think are like the more attractive accounting firm owners. Like it's like, oh, I want to work for your firm, sounds awesome. But I would say like the majority of accounting firms are overworked and are that old school mindset. Like you're hoping that accountants are adopting technology and not doing paper tax returns anymore. But I don't have a pulse on all the accountants in the US, obviously.
And when you keep using this word balance, and of course you have started this Balance CPA podcast and a platform. So what does that actually mean to you? I'm sure it's not just a slogan, right? But you have designed your firm, your life around this balance, So talk a little more about how do you create this balance, and how do you live this balance every day?
Yeah. I think the important part is every person balance is different. Some people could work an 8-hour work week and not complain about it. Some people are like 40 hours is too much for them. So you have to think, where do you want to spend your time? What are you passionate about? Is your goal to make as much money as humanly possible, take as many vacation days, make it to every one of your kids' soccer practices? And that's what it depends for every single person. But for me, I knew what actually got me down this path is my dad basically worked nonstop growing up. I never really saw him. And I feel like that's the more common lifestyle of really any business owner. You start a business and it becomes like your baby. It becomes your life. which is awesome if you want to grow your business into something amazing. But if that's your only focus, your health is probably going to deteriorate. Your relationships probably aren't going to be front of mind, friendships, things like that. So I think balance for me is all of those things. Where I think your health, especially mental health, is such a big thing now. You have to make time for that. But if you're working nonstop and all that you're thinking about is growing your business and serving your clients, which is a great thing, but that's what balance is. You only have so much energy in the day. If you're giving 100% to your business, where do you fit in the equation? Where's the self-care? Where's the fun, the happiness, like those things?
That's great. So Nick, talking about capacity versus burnout. Okay. So, how should firm owners think about capacity beyond just hours, so maybe in terms of workload or head count or, how do you really look at a capacity?
So the typical firm owner just thinks capacity is hours in the day, and they block their calendar, say, hey, this is how many days the team and I are working in a week and trying to get as much done as possible. And I don't like the mindset of trying to squeeze as much out of people, like they're objects and not people. So I think building a firm that allows you to scale, but not kill your capacity if your capacity is time. So if over the years, implementing technology has allowed us to assist more clients more efficiently, so we could scale without working more hours. So to me, that's the important viewpoint around capacity, not just being an hours metric, but how much could you get done in a certain period of time. Even this tax season, we set our deadlines, and our team was able, the last 2 weeks of tax season, we were basically done because we set our deadlines. We were super efficient. And then there was the light at the end of the tunnel. So we set those deadlines. So there's something to look forward to. We didn't say, oh, great job, everyone. We're being super efficient. Here's more work. Here's more clients. So I think that is important when it comes to how much capacity do you want to take on? Do you want to just always be at 100% capacity? I don't think that's sustainable. So we try to be at 80, 90% in tax season. So we have wiggle room if opportunities arise, or if we want to not work really late hours. Because most people listening probably are working maybe 60, 70 hours. So in my head, when we worked longer hours like that, my goal is always to reduce the hours, but still serve the client.
And where do you see that most leaders often sometimes misjudge their actual limits, maybe personally or professionally, and then they get into this burnout?
I think typically most business owners, like if they start the business themselves, they are used to doing everything. You're the jack of all trades. You start a business from scratch. You do every single task inside of the business. And over time, you get really good at it. And then hopefully at some point you hire someone on your team. But I think a lot of owners it's hard for them to let go of the control. And that's like one of the most common things I hear when I talk with other CPA. I coach some CPA firms, and they're like, well, I could do it better, or they don't do it as quick as me, or as efficient, or as good as me. But you have to be able to let go, to delegate and train. And I think that's the biggest thing, because the business owner thinks they should do everything themselves.
Yeah. And, the delegation is very, very difficult to, the first time kind of a manager, because, it's like, how the electricity travels from one tower to another and it drops the frequency. With delegation, it's also the same thing. So you'll never be able to do the same thing to the people, right? It will always drop something. So you have to really prepare for it, and then kind of, budget for it. So, because efficiency throughout the people cannot be the same.
I like that analogy, though. That is a good one.
Yeah. Okay. So, Nick, you said that in the tax season, you had like a 90% capacity, and then you said 10% was always for the things that surprises you, or maybe something comes up the last moment. Many times, when your firm is scaling, it is very difficult to set the boundaries, right? And it's very difficult to say no to the opportunities and, no to more businesses. So, how do you actually, set these boundaries?
Yeah, that's a really good point. Because even now, like I'm in my 14th year here, and the firm's been around way longer than me. but it takes such a long time to be at a place where you could say no to a client. So I don't know if I have the perfect advice, but at some point when you get to a point where you are feeling comfortable financially in your firm, that's the point where it's a lot easier to say, hey, this client is not a good fit. Where if you're starting out, it might be a bit harder, but depending where you are in your firm's journey, if you're new or, more experienced or an older firm like mine, you might get to a point where you just you keep changing your ideal client profile. So I think that's the most important part. Everyone should just look at their firm. Who's your favorite client? They'll come, or one of your favorite clients will come to your head right away. Why? They probably are really nice. They probably pay when you ask them to pay, and they don't, try to get you to discount them or try to say, I'll pay you next year or next month or whatever. They probably upload to your secure portal if you ask them to. They're the clients that are just easy to work with. And when you start focusing on those clients, you build everything around making your best clients happy. But what typically happens in firms is they do everything to make the complainers, like the squeaky wheel gets the oil. It's like the person who's complaining and asking for discounts and always causing an uproar. They're the ones who get the special attention. But when if you take a step back and from a business mindset, that makes absolutely no sense. So it's not like we just did this perfectly. It took us years, and each year we're setting our boundaries and being more and more strict on the boundary. Like, hey, you have to pay up front, otherwise we won't work on your stuff. Well, clients will be like, well, I've been coming in for a long time. That's a new process. And we're like, maybe year one we gave them leeway. Year two we gave them leeway. Year three we're like, unfortunately, you have to follow this process if you want to work with us. And if you don't, no hard feelings. So we always do it in like a professional way. But I think that's a really hard thing to identify and shift. But that has changed my firm like dramatically. Now, like I joke, like all our clients, we have just have our best clients here. And we keep attracting more clients like that who appreciate what we're building.
Can you just share some example around, the most difficult boundary you had to enforce and you felt it was very risky, but then turned out to be necessary for the growth?
Yeah. There's definitely been a lot of boundaries I've been forced. I'm in the kind of like the spearheading all the change in the firm and implementing things. And as a legacy firm, it's really hard. So for anyone listening, like I can't do that. I'm like, I change it from people who are coming to our firm longer than I've been alive. Like I have clients who've been coming here for 40 years and I'm 36. So it's really hard to tell them that we changed our systems. But one of the hardest things I did was we had an old school model that was, if you were a client here and you just had a simple tax return, you could call us anytime, ask any tax questions, no charge. So all summer we're getting calls, can you explain? But I knew something had to change because making all the changes took a long time, but just that one change alone allowed me to make more money and get paid by clients who actually appreciated my time. So now a client who really needed tax advice or consulting, they would happily pay for my time and we'd have that call. And then what happened was my call volume plummeted. I had so much more free time. So now when I had those calls with clients, I couldn't wait for the call because now I'm giving them, I would like even today when I have any call with the client, I want to give them as much value that 9 times out of 10, they thank me like, oh my God, this was so helpful. Thank you so much. We're just a few years prior, they would call and not appreciate my time. And I would do all that for free. And I was so burnt out. So that was one of the big shifts. Not everyone loved it, but now that it's been years changed, everything's much better. But there's always something in a firm that could be changed that will make your life a lot better.
And did you lose clients because of this?
I don't think we really lost any clients because of that. Maybe a few, like one, actually it's funny because I implemented that, let's say 5 years ago, but a recent client who's been, ongoing bookkeeping client for years, way before I was even in the firm. And they reached out, they're like, hey, can you go over my P&L, do this and do that? And that wasn't part of what they pay us for. So I was like, yeah, I'm happy to just book a time here. And they didn't want to. And then they went elsewhere, which I completely understand. Like if they want to go to an accountant who they have expectations and I have expectation. I'm no longer building the firm around every client. I'm building it around our ideal client.
And how easy or difficult it was to implement this system within the firm, especially when firm is running much before you came into the business?
It's like any change up front was the most work by far, because now I had to explain why I made this change to, let's call it 1,000 people or whoever wanted to have that call. I would have explained why, like, hey, I'm maxed out on time. I need to focus on the clients who really need the calls and the consulting. And so in the beginning, it's a lot of upfront explaining. And that's why I think people don't want to make the change, because like, oh, it's going to be so much work to explain this to 1,000 people. But after you're done, that it's over. Like you make the shift, and then there's no, like, now a new client coming to us would never expect a free call. I do that for an intro call. Like a new client, I want to get to know them, go over their stuff. That's different. And then I let them know, hey, if you want ongoing advisory, there'll be a charge for that, because that's separate from a tax return or bookkeeping. So it's just communicating that up front. It's a lot easier. Like if I was starting a firm today, I would just say, this is how we operate. But when you have an old firm, now you have to explain to all those clients to get them up to your new model. And some clients understand and appreciate it. And the clients who don't like it, they kind of fizzle out. And then in the end, you get what you want, which is nice.
Okay, next, let's move to other dimension of burnout. That is, how do you implement technology, AI, automation, offshoring, into this? So, firms are investing in technology, AI, automation. In some cases, even global teams or offshore support. So, all in the name of to create a capacity, and yet many of them still feel overwhelmed. So what's the biggest mistake firms make when they adopt new tools, expect those tools to solve their problems?
Yeah, if you don't have a good system, the technology is not just going to solve your problems. You basically have to have I always start with your ideal client and then your ideal workflow, and then get the tool that could solve those pain points. So like a simple example for us was, we had all of our clients dropping paper documents off. When I first joined here, everyone came. We had filing cabinets. We're sorting, alphabetizing these folders. Huge waste of time. So just a simple solution. We implement Smart Vault for document management. So now it took years, but now the only way to get documents to us is uploading them to Smart Vault. That's step one for a firm like mine, or someone who's listening who still is old school. You need to get everything electronic before you can get into the automation and the AI. Because if you're a paper firm, AI doesn't really help you. It just can't. So I had to go from literally, that's why I feel like my story is unique, is like I had to go from the most old school possible firm. We were doing everything paper to now, not that we're the most modern and most advanced, but we've changed so much so quickly. And being willing to make those changes is the hard part. But now I could use AI and offshoring. Like we just, one thing I'm proud of this year, we switched our tax software. We've been using Lacert since the beginning of when they started, but I wanted to be cloud-based. So we switched over to ProConnect. So now we're in ProConnect, which is a cloud-based tax software. We've been using QuickBooks Desktop forever. We just converted from QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online. So having everything in the cloud, now they're building AI into those tools. So seeing the trajectory of these technologies, like you want to use the right technology. You're not just going to get technology, like get a Smart Vault. If you can't get your clients to use it, or it doesn't help your firm at all. So that's the disconnect.
So what's your tech stack looks like right now?
Yeah, so our workflow is like, and it's changed over the years, but like now I feel like we finally have like a really solid workflow process. But this year our client will start, if we're just talking just tax returns. So tax season begins, we send out all of our agreements through Anchor, which is our billing software. We send it out in November. We want to actually send it before tax season starts. It saves us a lot of admin time out of tax season. They get their agreement. They sign, they pay up front based on like their last year's fee. We might modify it for whatever reason. And then it creates a project in Financial Sense, which is our workflow management tool. And then in that, each project has all the details of what needs to be done, whether it's personal return, a partnership return, S corp return. They all have different workflow. We try to make it as similar as possible, but obviously personal and business are different. Teamwork works through that. We have a preparer, a reviewer, and then a third review. E-sign, upload the documents directly into Smart Vault. The client uploads their documents into Smart Vault. We upload the finalized tax return into Smart Vault. Do everything in ProConnect this tax season, and then the clients. So we really eliminated paper, which to me is one of the biggest savers of time. We used to mail out all those returns. So now the clients have access to their tax return 24/7 securely. And really that's the very simplified version of the tools we use from a tax season perspective. Obviously I use a bunch of different tools for different, like booking. I use Calendly for all my, appointments. I use Teams for video calls, but
Yeah. And I think must have taken a lot of time for you. I mean, from your complete paper to now complete automation.
It was very hard, but it was worth making the change. And people are always talking about AI taking over and losing their jobs and all this stuff. I'm like, most people are still doing things in a very manual fashion that it's so disconnected. It's I feel like people are either super advanced with technology, which I would not consider myself very advanced. I just see problems and I see solutions to the problems. So that's kind of how I do my workflow. But most people are doing things an old school way that's comfortable, and they're afraid to change. And I think that if I was to talk to someone today, just find your pain point and make a change. And at least try it. What's the worst that could happen?
And what is your team size right now?
So during tax season, we had 10. We had 2 part-time people just for tax season. And so now we have a team of 8, and that includes me and my brother. So 6 employees, and then me and my brother are partners.
And have you ever used offshoring, or do you use global teams?
So we haven't yet. And the main reason is because all of our stuff has been desktop based. So to VPN in and all the security concerns there. But I know there's tons of workarounds, or I know other firms who do that, but always has been on my roadmap was to get everything into the cloud. Because now I feel I'm at the point where it'd be very easy to do offshore. Because now it's just log into a browser anywhere, because now anyone could do that. Where my mindset shifted before, I had to physically be in this office to physically use my server that's physically here. And now it's well, everything's up in the cloud. So there's no physical restrictions anymore. But this is the first time in my firm's history that we've been like this.
And it will make a huge difference because, so you can access things from anywhere. And you can use global teams, which is much more efficient, faster way of doing things.
Yeah.
And, coming to more emotional side of it, so somebody who has ran a firm for a long time, and then if they have to shift, when you have to set a boundaries and you have to shift, and then you say, hey, look, I'll be doing only certain kind of a thing, and I can see a lot of these firm owners are juggling with that, so what would be your take, because we have done that, okay? So what would be your take as to how they should just begin this journey of redesigning their firm in a way that will create their lifestyle?
Yeah. I guess it's I think the easiest way to start is where's the biggest pain point? Who's your worst client? Who, when they call you on the phone, your blood pressure goes up. That's a really good sign. So it's you can't fix everything all at once. It took me years to make the changes, and I still have pain points that I'm trying to work on. But if you need to start something now, easiest thing, fire your worst client. Or if you're uncomfortable with that, would your worst client, if they paid you 10 times what they're paying you, could they be your best client? Maybe. To some people, no amount of money. So you start thinking about things out of the box. Most accountants are stuck in a habit thinking I have to serve everyone. I have to help everyone. Someone comes to my office and goes, hey, can you do a $9.90 nonprofit. Well, I don't have any expertise there, but I'll figure it out. That's what accountants do. They get themselves, they overcommit to things that they don't want to do or they're not good at. And then if you do something you're not good at or that you don't want to do, you're probably not going to be very happy. So I think that's like an easy starting place. But if you already have once you have the perfect client list and you love all your clients, you're probably going to really like your job a lot.
And a lot of times, people feel that, okay, growth is the only way of life, right? And then, of course, people go after that. But and suddenly when they are not growing, though they are in a happier position, but their mindset is not settled. So, what's your advice on that? Or if you have, any experiences around that, maybe you can share.
Yeah. So that was our pain point when I first started. We were just growing, and that it's all mindset. Like that came from my dad. Success in his eyes was make as much money as you can. That was success. Nothing else mattered. Which over time we're making more money, working more hours, and that's not success for me. So I'm I had to shift to off growth mode. I still want to grow. I still want to do more, but how could I be more productive? Me printing out tax returns and mailing them for hours or scanning in documents didn't make me feel fulfilled at all. I knew it was something that could be delegated back to the client to upload them directly to SmartVault. Little things like that, I started realizing I could grow, do more, make more, and not be burnt out. But I was basically just pinpointing the things that I really didn't like to do. I love having advisory appointments with my clients and giving them value rather than just doing the compliance end. But not everyone wants compliance. So my goal every year is to do more of the things where I feel like I add the most value, because those actually generate the most revenue. But if you're so busy doing the admin task that could be automated, it's hard to get paid a lot more money for scanning documents versus helping someone save $10,000 in taxes.
And so what are those 2 or 3 principles you now consider completely non-negotiable if someone wants to build a truly balanced firm?
I would say number 1 would be no payment, no work. That's the easiest place to start.
No payment, no work.
Yeah, no payment, no work. Because think about how many accountants are burnt out working so much. And then in the summer when tax season, they're doing collections all summer. So they were stressed to help people who didn't even pay them. You might as well not even have the client in my eyes. But obviously when you're first starting out, I completely understand. We did that for many years, but no payment, no work. Another one that has been tougher to implement, but definitely something that's super important is being a paperless firm. You have to scan your documents and upload them. We still have legacy clients because everyone always asks well, how do you do that? Because it's really hard to do, especially a firm like mine. We have clients who are, 70 plus who can't use a scanner. They still come in. What we did, we implemented a $50 paper drop-off fee to scan their documents. And we've had almost zero pushback. They're oh yeah, it makes sense. We tell them, they're we have an admin scanning all your documents, moving all your files for you. And they're we get it. We're we can't use a computer. So we make it, but I would highly encourage clients who could try to use upload documents. That's just because I don't enjoy, I want to eliminate as much administrative, low value tests as possible and keep giving clients a good experience. And then, let me think of my third. One that to me is everyone has their pet peeves, but I need appointments for I don't take unscheduled calls. And maybe it's just a me thing because some people like being on the phone and chatting, but if I'm talking with you and you were in my office and the phone rings, I'm not answering the call. If I'm working on your tax return and the phone rings, I'm not answering the call. But if someone books an appointment, I know at 2:00 we have a call, I'm going to be ready for the call. That's just a personal thing. I'm very structured in my time. I think it's actually unfair to take the random phone call unscheduled and to stop in the middle of working on your job. I think that's important.
And I think, system and structure makes you more free actually. Yeah,
definitely.
So Nick, for someone who's listening to this, and they are kind of feeling stuck. They are reevaluating their tax season and they are in a reflection mode. Okay. So how they should go about it, what they should do in the first quarter to, kind of redesign their firm. What are those, actionable 3-4 things, they should start thinking or, executing?
I would say maybe make a list of 4 things you want to change in your firm, whether it be upfront billing and implementing a no payment, no work, or becoming paperless, or setting just something simple, setting deadlines. Like a lot of accounting firms don't have deadlines when their documents need to be dropped off to get finished by April 15th. So we have a March 31st deadline. So if you bring your stuff in on April 1st, you go on extension. That's something you could implement like basically immediately. You just have to let your clients know that you have these new deadlines. But again, it's so hard because anyone listening, you have no idea where they are in their journey. They might be doing amazing in one thing and they might really be struggling in another area. So I basically always go back to thinking about your own pain point. Like where's your biggest stress in your job, and start there and think about 1 or 2 solutions that could maybe fix it. Start there, because that's exactly what I did. And then your biggest problem gets resolved. Now you have a smaller problem. Like now I'm dealing with problems that are this big in comparison to what they used to be. But that's just how your mind changes. Like you've solved all the big issues, and now you're like almost nitpicking to make things as perfect as you can. So I think that's a good place to start. It's very generic, but you just have no idea where someone's journey is.
Yeah. So I think we are coming to the last question of this talk, Nick. So you have been promoting the balanced CPA, everywhere, and So what future are you trying to help create for the firm owners? So how would they analyze, after implementing this balanced CPA, what would their life or maybe their firm would look like?
My goal is for firm owners, whether it's accounting or any type of industry, to love their business. It's like, that's what building a business is all about, is like building something that you love and you're passionate about. And I enjoyed coming to work during tax season. Like I would tell Christine, my fiance, I would be coming to work. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to crush it today. I'm so excited. She's like, it's like April and you're so happy. But it's like when you're building something you're proud of and you are in control of your business, it's not your clients dictating when your deadline is or when they pay you. And those are just like pain points for me. Like once you're really in control and you feel like you're building the business of your dreams, because then you have the vacation in the summer to look forward to. And I want people that love the accounting industry and not think, especially people coming into the industry, like, oh, I don't want to be an accountant. Like I want accounting to be an awesome industry that people want to do. Cause like, oh, it's a business that could be successful, build a great life and help a lot of people. But the balance, obviously, having time for health. I think health is obviously the most important thing, because without your health, you have nothing. So I want people to make sure they have time to go to the gym during tax season, eat healthy. Like those are things that are not as exciting to talk about, but I think are actually the most important things when it comes to balance.
Yeah. So add a little more glamour in your accounting profession.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. This has been really a valuable conversation. And what I really appreciate is that it's just not about working less. It's more about building better, designing things more, intentionally, and creating a firm that actually supports the life you want to live, right? In your case, it is like a travel, right? So thank you for joining me in this Smart Outsourcing Talks. Really enjoyed this conversation. And to everyone who's listening, if this episode made you reflect on how your firm is operating or how your life is feeling because of it, then maybe this is the right time to ask a simple but a powerful question. Is your firm supporting your life or consuming it? Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much. Have a great day.